Welcome, everybody. Let's settle in and get started. So find a seated position or lying down, however you're most comfortable today. Just allow your body to be at ease and supported. And let's just begin by taking some deep breaths, imagining that we can breathe all the way down from our abdomen all the way up to the top of our heads. And then release with a slow out breath. Breathing in down deep into the belly, noticing that the abdomen should be pushing outward as you breathe in. And the belly softens as you breathe out. I'd invite you to close your eyes if you haven't already. And if it feels safer or more comfortable to keep your eyes open, I'd invite you to look at something neutral, maybe look outside at a tree or the rug. But try not to look at something that has a lot of movement or animation. It's just going to draw you out into the outer world. Whereas with meditation, we're really trying to allow the mind and the senses to settle so that we can go inward more easily. Continuing to tune into the breath. Noticing that as you breathe in, the shoulders do rise slightly, the chest expands, the belly expands. And as you breathe out, the shoulders automatically fall and soften. Sometimes if we've been holding our bodies really rigidly, the shoulders won't go down. And so just see if you can invite with the out breath, because there's already a letting go happening with the out breath. So just see if you can invite your body to soften into the moment with every out breath. Sometimes if I'm been really stressed or my body's really tight, just moving the shoulders a little bit first, rolling the neck, moving the body in a way that feels good to you today. And then the other thing I'll often do is I'll just inwardly invite my body to soften as I'm breathing out. So it's just this inward, gentle invitation. So let's try that together for a bit. So in and out through the nose, comfortable breathing, and just inwardly whispering the word soften inside your mind with the out breath. Inviting the face to soften, the jaw, all the little muscles around the eyes, the muscles around the ears, and the muscles of the scalp. So for the next few breaths, really focusing your awareness on the face and the head, and inviting those muscles in particular to release and let go and soften. And then inviting the inside of the mouth to soften. It's an area we sometimes hold tension that we're unaware of. So allowing the jaw to go slack, but also the inside of the mouth, seeing if you're holding that tightly. You might imagine how it feels when you put a really warm washcloth on your face and how it just encourages all those little muscles of the face to release. And if the mind is really busy, just allowing it to continue its chattering, and you don't have to fight with it, just allowing it to do its thing. And you're just gently bringing your awareness back to the body when you notice the mind chatter taking the forefront of your awareness, just allowing the softening happening in your body to then come more clearly into your focus, more clearly into the forefront. So it's not a shoving aside or a rejection of thoughts or feelings. You're allowing it all to be there. You're just bringing something that you're choosing into your focus of awareness. And again, this softening, this invitation to soften to the body is not a command. And it's done with great gentleness because sometimes we've been holding tension for a really long time. And the body, as much as we invite it to soften, is still going to feel tight. And so it's not a forcing, and it's okay. It's okay if there's still quite a bit of tension. Moving your awareness down to the neck and shoulders and inviting this part of the body to soften. Inviting this part of the body to let go. Maybe imagining a warm, moist towel around your shoulders and your neck. Imagining how that would feel. And then bringing awareness to the chest and the heart space and kind of noticing if you're slumped over or if your shoulders are really rolled forward. It's a very strong habit for many of us. It's a protection, but it also makes us feel closed down and disconnected. So see if you can just slightly, just not in an uncomfortable way, not in a forcing your shoulders back kind of way, but just in a, it might even just be an intention. It might not even change your exact body posture, but just seeing if you can have the intention to open the heart space a little bit. It might feel like you're opening up your chest area a little bit, or it might just be in your mind, in your imagination. Might roll your shoulders back and forward a little bit, and then back again. And then taking a deep breath into the heart space and just feeling how it can expand, and feeling the stretch in the chest wall, the chest muscles stretching, the rib cage stretching. See if you can tune into that sensation. And then tune into the softening that happens when you breathe out, the softening specifically in your chest. And then, if you're somebody who likes to visualize or use your imagination for things, see if you can visualize breathing in bright light or white light through your nose and imagining it. Maybe it's white, maybe it's just bright light, maybe it sparkles, and breathe that into your heart space. And imagine that as you breathe in the white light, it's allowing the heart to expand. It's allowing whatever constrictions or wounds that the heart is holding. It's allowing, you might almost even see that as you breathe in, the heart is so full of light that it starts to crack. And you can start to see the light shining through the cracks. And you can see as the metal or the armor that most of us carry around the heart. Just imagine that safely and slowly dissolving, so there's no more constriction in the heart. And if that feels unsafe or scary today, just imagining that the white light that you're breathing in truly is made of love and is providing the protection you need without the blocking of connection that the armor that most of us carry around causes. So the light, the love light that you're breathing in, it allows you to feel safe and protected and nurtured, but not blocked from connection, not separate. And then moving your awareness down through your core, down to your abdomen, and breathing in and feeling the stretch of your abdomen as you take a deep breath in. And notice if you're holding your abdomen or belly tightly, seeing if you could just let go of any of that holding or restricting. Allow the belly to get as big as it needs to with the in breath. And some of us can be self conscious about this area of our bodies. And so just noticing if a self consciousness or there's anything coming up around the abdomen. It's a place we hold a lot of stuff, a lot of old stuff. So just noticing it. You don't have to fix anything or change anything. Just bringing an awareness to this part of your body, just observing what arises within you as you pay attention to your navel center. Observing the inflow of the breath and then the softening of the abdomen as you breathe out. A gentle way the belly button kind of floats back towards the spine. Maybe even just focusing your attention just on the belly button, just the back and forth movement. Moving the awareness then down into the pelvic area, the hips, the buttocks, the genitals, and just noticing that this is another area that we can hold old wounds, we can hold trauma, and just inviting gentle awareness here. Inviting, we also will hold a lot of tension in this area, often without realizing it at all. So just see if you're holding any of those muscles tightly and then breathing into that area, imagining the loving light going into that area. And as you breathe out, just allowing this area of your body to soften as much as it wants to. Recognizing that we hold things tightly when we're afraid, but that keeps the energy stuck the way it is. And so when we can breathe into spots in our body with gentleness, with kindness, with patience, we can encourage the energy to move. It doesn't have to be a forcing. In fact, do not force. It's just this gentle, it's like you're holding space for yourself. You're holding space for certain parts of your body with tenderness and just kind of almost like you would hold a young child. It's like that kind of nurturing energy that you're bringing to your own body. It's like, oh, sweetheart, you've been through a lot. I'm just going to hold presence for you. And you don't have to do anything or fix anything or be a certain way. I'm just going to sit here and be loving you. So you're just loving your body. And if that concept seems really foreign and abstract and bizarre, just allow for the idea that maybe that's possible to send love to the body. to breathe in love into the body, even if that doesn't quite make sense right now. We're very kinesthetic and social creatures as humans, and the nurturing we get as little children, it leaves an imprint. And sometimes, if we didn't get enough nurturing, that leaves an imprint as well. So, just trying to tap into whatever kind of nurturing you know, and it might be, it may not have come from a parent, it may have come from a grandparent or a teacher or a pet or even a tree, may have come from a body of water where you felt particularly safe. So just tapping into whatever experience of nurturing you can remember, even if it was very subtle. And if you really cannot tap into any experience of what nurturing feels like, then just put your arms around yourself. You can do this even if you can tap into an experience of nurturing. Just wrap your arms around you as if you're giving yourself a hug and just kind of rock from side to side if that feels good. Some of you may rock front to back. For me, I just find that rocking side to side is more soothing. Just imagining that you're holding a very young child. You're in your grown up self, but you're holding this very young child that is you. You're just offering a place of unconditional love and safety. And then maybe put a hand on your heart and one on your face, just on your cheek. If you like, continue that kind of swaying. It's a very subtle swaying from left to right, like gently rocking the baby. And this may feel very vulnerable and strange to you, and that's okay. Many of us don't know how to comfort ourselves, and it's one reason I'm suggesting this and introducing the idea that we can learn to nurture ourselves and comfort ourselves. And then just moving into whatever posture really feels good to you. Maybe you're realizing that your body's kind of hurting, or you're just wanting to lay down, wanting to rest. So just listen inwardly to what your body is telling you it needs right now. Maybe it wants to be touched on your shoulder, or on your leg, or maybe on your belly, one hand on your belly and one on your heart. Just sort of inwardly ask your body what it's needing or wanting from you right now. And then respond by giving it what it's asking for. And it might even tell you what it's wanting or needing in the future. Like maybe it's wanting a warm bath or a hot shower, some sort of soothing thing you can do for yourself. And then just allowing yourself to rest. So, seeing if you can release as much of the effort that we often bring to meditation. And if it feels good to focus on the breath and have the breath as awareness, as the object of awareness, if that helps you feel tethered or anchored to something, then do that. But if that feels tiresome today and too effortful, then just see if you can allow your mind and your awareness to rest in what we call open awareness, where you're just kind of letting the mind drift. It's like daydreaming a little bit. And unlike daydreaming, though, you're keeping awareness of what's going through. So it's almost like you're lying on a beautiful, warm spring or summer day. You're lying on a grassy hillside and you're looking up at the clouds and they're just drifting by. There's a nice breeze and you're watching the phenomena of awareness just drift by as opposed to jumping into the clouds, where you're like completely involved in the story. And that's going to happen. We'll get pulled into one of the clouds, but then just gently go back and lay on the hillside and just watch the clouds go by. It's this sense of having a little bit of distance, a little bit of objectivity. It's practicing being in witness consciousness, where we are the witness rather than being so identified with all these objects of awareness. We're practicing being in the witness, in the seat of the witness. And so when the mind pulls us into a particularly sticky thought strain, a lot of times if something difficult happened interpersonally, or you're angry or you're upset, these thought trains or strings will pull us in strongly because we're very attached emotionally. And if that's happening today to you, just it's okay. You don't have to berate yourself or judge yourself. We're all human. This happens to everyone. Just notice. See if you can just notice the emotions in your body. It's one way to work with very strong feelings and very strong thought patterns is keep dropping back into the body and just notice how certain emotions present with different body sensations. So again, we're taking the seat of the witness again and again. And we're just sitting back and watching the clouds go by, all the phenomena of awareness, thoughts, sensations, emotions. We're not pushing them away. We're allowing it all to be there, but we're just observing. And when we get overly involved, then we just notice that and gently remind ourselves to come back and sit on the hillside and just watch it all go by. So it might feel like you're watching something on a screen or you're watching something outside of yourself, Or it may feel like you're watching the inner workings of your own body, just the sensations going through your body. And more likely than not, it will be both. Sometimes it will feel like you're watching things outside of yourself, and sometimes it feels more internal. So let's practice in that way together for the remaining time we have left. And above all, be gentle and be kind with yourself. Notice if you're being harsh or perfectionistic or judgmental. And just notice those tendencies and see if you can soften the energy that you're taking with yourself. It's a soft, gentle awareness. taking a moment just to thank yourself now for taking the time and the energy to go inward, recognizing that every time we go inward and we get still, we're creating the potential for compassion and kindness towards ourselves. And this is in the benefit of all beings because when we can have compassion for our own suffering, it automatically translates into an understanding of other people's suffering. And so it ripples outwards. So just give yourself a little hug in your mind or a literal hug. And just thank yourself for taking the time to do this today. May the fruits of our practice spread outwards in all directions and help to end the suffering of all beings everywhere. Namaste. I'm happy to take any questions. While I give you some space and time to think of that, I just wanted to mention something that was coming to me at the end of the meditation, but I didn't. It felt too heady, and I didn't really want to go there in the meditation. I just wanted to give you all space and time for silence. But it's something that I've been noticing in my own mind, and so I thought I'd bring it up today. I've been noticing I'm just becoming more aware of the way my mind really wants to like be in charge and wants to know things and wants to come up with the solution or the answer. And I've had the experience of kind of a knowing just like dropping in um, without effort, like if I'm trying to um, decide about something, for example. Right now, I'm trying to decide about something work related, and I'm noticing my mind gets really, really busy around like trying to weigh the pros and cons and all of this. And I guess I just wanted to name that out loud because I think it's just a part of being human. And I also wanted to name out loud that I think we've all had the experience of kind of that more effortless knowing where you're not trying to think of an answer and you're out for a run or you're out for a walk or it comes to you in a dream or any one of these things. And so I think for some reason I just wanted to name it out loud to remind all of us, including myself, that when I catch my brain in kind of that like frenetic like grasping energy. It feels like a grasping, like, I gotta figure this out right now. That's never the way that I come to the most grounded decisions, through that kind of heady, like logical process. We all have this guiding principle, we all use a different name for it, but I think, flow is a good word. I like the word flow because when you're in flow, the answer is just obvious, and it's not doesn't have this quality of like grasping for an answer. So anyway, I just wanted to share my personal experience with that lately because I suspect many of us are searching for answers, especially during the pandemic when we're all kind of trying to figure out how are we going to get through this, how are we going to get through this day, this month, the rest of this year. And so I'd invite you to just really accept that the mind really, it's designed to want to create answers. And so it does that all the time. But there is a deeper knowing within each one of us that when we get still and quiet, that knowing just comes up to the surface and it's effortless. So, and a lot of times it comes through the body. So I would just really encourage you to, use this time that we're in that is less busy and there's less stimulation and less activity to start to tune into that more intuitive inner teacher that we all have and that we can access through meditation, but also through walking in the woods or in the shower when you're just feeling the water flow over you. It can happen anytime. And yeah, just want you all to know how grateful I am. Um, DJ, you're welcome. Lisa, I'm just going to read this. The imagery of the cracking of the heart and then the white light being visible as the shell of protection begins to crack was so powerful, and my body softened and even felt my ears begin to drain. The session really opened my body and softened it. I'm so glad to hear that, Lisa. That's exciting. The mind and we're very powerful. We're each our own incredibly powerful healer. And just using visualization and imagination, we can do incredible things to heal, to heal our psyche and our bodies through these inward ways. Jeannie, no question, wonderful reminder of that inner voice. Good, I'm glad. Yeah. We're also trained out of, I've been just seeing my own, especially with my medical training. I feel like that's a particular area in our culture where we're trained out of listening to our own intuition, and we question it and we doubt it and we walk over it. I had an experience recently where I had a strong intuition about something, but it wasn't logical, and it was one of those gut feelings, and I ignored it, and then had the opportunity several days later, and it came up again about the same situation, and I was able to respond differently to it and actually act in accordance with my intuition, and I was just struck at how much better that felt. It felt so honoring, whereas, like, when I ignored that gut feeling just because my mind couldn't grasp why I was feeling that way, it just felt so dishonoring. But, we're very trained in this culture to use our logical minds, and they have utility. We need our logic and we need our ability to think, but it's often to the loss and the detriment of that more heart-centered, intuitive voice. So anyway, I hope you listen to your intuitive inner teacher more and more. There's a lot of value there.